Alright, hello, how are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Where are you going? What are you
Work.
up to today? Work? You look nice.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Alright, so we're going to do some vocab testing today. I'm going to show you some pictures and ask you some questions. And see how you do. Some will be really easy. Some will be a little harder. That's okay. Just take your best guess if you need to. Alrighty, so we're going to start with some sample items. So I'm going to show you a picture and ask a question. Tell me one word that answers my question and goes with the picture. Your answer must only be one word. Let's try it. What is she doing?
Singing.
That's right, singing. The girl is singing. What is another word for rock?
Pebble.
That's correct. Pebble. Pebble is another word for rock. So let's do some more like this. I'll show you a picture and ask you a question. You're to tell me one word that answers my question and goes with the picture. Your answer must only be one word. Listen carefully. What do you call this worker?
A lifeguard.
What is this plant?
Cactus.
What is this bird?
Turkey.
What is this?
An arrow.
What is the word for this container?
Vase.
What is this?
An envelope.
Tell me another word for woods.
Forest.
Tell me another word for boat.
Ship.
Tell me a word for rip, as in rip the paper.
Tear.
What is this animal?
A panda.
What is this?
Telescope.
Tell me another word for a lake.
Same.
What is this instrument?
Thermometer.
What is another word for a cook or baker?
Chef.
What is this musical instrument?
Trumpet.
What is the word for the joint between the hand and the arm?
Wrist.
Tell me another word for thin.
Skinny.
Tell me the word that means 12 eggs.
Dozen.
What kind of boat is this?
A canoe.
What kind of tree is this?
A palm. Palm tree.
Tell me a word for quarreling, as in the boys are quarreling.
Arguing.
What is this tool?
A wrench.
Tell me a word for throw, as in she can throw the ball.
Pitch.
What do you call a baby sheep?
A lamb.
What is this?
Fire hydrant. It's 2 words, isn't it?
But just one word is enough of a response. What is the word for this part of a tree?
Trunk.
Tell me a word for locate, as in he will locate the keys.
Find.
Tell me a word for save, as in he will save the dog.
Rescue.
Tell me the word for the foot of a fox or dog.
Paw.
What is the word for the surface of bread?
Crust.
Tell me another word for friend.
Buddy.
What is this musical instrument?
A harp.
Tell me a word for one person singing a song by himself.
Solo.
What is this?
Celery.
Tell me a word for allow, as in she will allow him to drive.
Let.
What is this?
Trunk.
Tell me one word for all of these.
Vehicle.
Tell me another word for suitcases.
Luggage.
What is another word for pig?
Hog.
You're doing good. Tell me another word for fish tank.
Aquarium.
Tell me a word that describes a page as empty.
Blank.
Tell me another word for road or street.
Avenue.
Tell me another word that describes someone as puzzled.
Confused.
Tell me a word that describes something as very old.
Ancient.
What is this musical instrument?
Clarinet.
Tell me a word that describes someone as bright or smart.
Intelligent.
In a brush, what are these?
Bristles.
Tell me a word for the stand used by this speaker.
Podium.
Tell me a word for laughing, as in the girl is laughing.
Giggling.
Tell me another word for sick.
Ill.
What is this tool?
Pliers.
Tell me a word for sly, as in the sly fox.
Sneaky.
Tell me a word for fix, as in he will fix the cup.
Repair.
What is another word for the top of a mountain?
Peak.
Tell me a word that describes someone as very rich.
Wealthy.
Tell me a word for fire, as in stay back from the fire.
Flame.
Tell me the word for the long hair on a horse's neck.
Mane.
Tell me a word for hurry, as in she must hurry to work.
Rush.
Tell me another word for cloth.
Fabric.
What is a word for this serving spoon?
Ladle.
What shape is this?
Pentagon.
What is she wearing around her neck?
Stethoscope.
Tell me another word for chore.
Task.
Tell me another word for price.
Cost.
Tell me another word for brook.
Creek.
What is the word for a framed section of glass in a window?
Pane.
What is the word for the rings of a chain?
Link.
Tell me another word for clear or see-through.
Transparent.
Tell me another word for family.
Relatives.
Tell me another word for smell or scent.
Odor.
Tell me a word for entirely, as in the tree is entirely bare.
Whole. Holy.
Cats belong to this family of animals.
Feline.
Tell me the word for the arm of an octopus.
Tentacle.
Tell me a word for cried, as in the boy cried.
Got upset.
Remember to only use one word.
Wind.
Tell me another word for doctor.
Physician.
Tell me another word for boast.
Brag.
Tell me another word for idea.
Thought.
Tell me another word for swamp.
Marsh.
Tell me another word for hug or hold.
Embrace.
Tell me another word for dependable.
Reliable.
Tell me another word for bush.
Shrub.
Tell me another word for house or home.
Abode.
Being good and patient. Tell me another word for try, as in he will try to do it.
Attempt.
Tell me another word for raised or lifted.
Elevated.
Tell me another word for mistake.
Wrongdoing. Error. Damn it.
Tell me a word that describes someone as sorry, as in the boy is sorry.
Apologetic.
Tell me the word for domestic birds, such as chickens that are kept for eggs or meat.
Domestic birds. Pet.
Tell me another word for dangerous.
Risky.
In a zipper, what are these?
Teeth.
Tell me another word for mathematics.
Can it be a type of mathematics or just mathematics as a whole?
Mathematics as a whole.
Arithmetic.
Tell me a word for copied, as in she copied the flyer.
Duplicate.
Tell me a word for forecast, as in she will forecast the weather.
Predict.
Tell me another word for have or own.
Um, belong.
What word is used to describe animals or plants that live in water?
Animals or plants that live in water or aquatic.
Tell me a word for describing someone as lucky.
Fortunate.
What one word describes the relationship of these two straight lines?
Intersect.
Be more specific.
Perpendicular.
Tell me another word for doubtful.
Skeptical.
Tell me another word for reflection.
Image.
Tell me a word for deserted, as in the beach is deserted.
Desolate.
Tell me another word for beginner.
Um, starting or starter.
Tell me another word for verify.
Confirm.
Tell me a word for change, as in she can change the length of the pants.
Alter.
Tell me a word for roost, as in the bird will roost.
Call.
What is this near the point of the fishhook?
Like a, what's it called? Not a burr.
Tell me another word for conspicuous.
Suspicious.
Tell me another word for enough.
Plenty.
Be more specific.
Adequate.
Tell me the word for a male duck.
Oh, a drake.
Tell me another word for brief or short.
Brief or short. Small.
What is a word for the waxy substance in candles?
Wax.
tell me another word for camel.
Another word for camel? Animal.
And that completes it. Good job. You did great.
What's the thing on the end of the fish hook called? I don't know what it's called.
We'll have to take a look at that.